What really pisses me off the most about those Chinese hacking servers is the fact that they make fake server of every server. So like all the big servers, Nublar, Azura, Teutonic, Life Finds a Way, Nicta, we all have these like random ass fake servers below that say they have like 166 out of 200. So players click those, seeing the player count, especially new people. They'll click those servers thinking it's like, oh, Life Finds a Way, because they've heard about it, or Nublar, Nicta, and it takes them directly to a hacked like Chinese hypo server. And that's what's pissing me off the most, because they're quite literally stealing players.
They're using a exploit which the source of which we're still investigating. But the general fixing it, we're just waiting on a response from a third party. As soon as we get that, we can just basically patch it in like a single day.
In case you were out of the loop, let me catch you up. The first person that you heard was Dog, Life Finds a Way owner, concerned about the whole Chinese server situation. The second person you heard was Punchpacket, and I think he does more community relations type of stuff. I'm not exactly sure, but honestly the dude is really cool. He came in, clarified some things, and answered some questions afterwards. He did like a little mini Q&A or something like that. Basically, he made us all aware of the roadmap that has been updated, which by the way, I'll talk about the roadmap in a little bit here. But before I talk about him talking to us, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the whole Type H thing on the Chinese servers. Now, obviously, I do not want to tell you how to play the game. I don't want to like bash anybody else who's been playing these Type H's on these Chinese servers, kind of supporting them in a way. That's my take on it. You do whatever you want. I don't care. And I definitely don't want to ruin your fun, especially if it's not your fault that these events are unfolding. It's up to the developers to fix the situation, and yeah, they are doing something. Personally, I'm not a fan, and I'll get to that here in a bit, but Punch did give us reassurance that yes, they are going to do something about it, and they're going to kill these servers. Now, obviously, it is not cool to spoof your name, to make your name look like a popular server. Like, let's take Life Finds a Way, for example. That's the server I play on. They would create servers that looks like Life Finds a Way servers, and they would change the player numbers to make it look like they have 150 out of 200 players or something like that, which confused new players to join them. And that's what Dog was talking about earlier. So the players would go on to the Chinese server instead of the legit server. And then when you do go in game, there are hypos, there are humans, quetzals, all the sorts of stuff that you should not have access to and that you probably should not see. Now, obviously, it is interesting to see the stuff. I'd love to, but I have two concerns. Number one, you're potentially at risk for your security. Number two, these creatures are being ruined. I'll get to that here in a minute about the locked stuff being ruined and all that, but your security, I'm not so concerned about your account getting hacked. I don't know, but your IP does get logged into their system, and that's what I'm worried about. Even so, that is not really a big worry, because what can you do with an IP? You can locate someone's geographical location, or you could probably knock off their connection. I don't see that being as likely of an issue. So security-wise, I'm not too concerned, but I'm still not 100% sure on that though. So don't take my word for it or anything. But what I'm mainly concerned about is people should not be playing these things. Now, again, I don't want to tell you how to play the game. You have your fun. The developers are taking care of it. And you could probably say that, well, we're going to play these things eventually. Well, yeah, but I don't think we should be playing them now. It ruins the hype of these creatures. You are devaluing these creatures by playing as them. It is not as special. Back in the day, when you saw these creatures, it was like, holy shit. That is a hypo. I'm scared, but I want to take a look at it anyways. Probably 2 weeks into playing the game of hearing what a Type H was, I saw one for the first time. That was the Purge. That was special. That was cool. It got my adrenaline pumping, and I can't exactly express the vibes of seeing it back then versus seeing it today. Seeing one is still going to be hella cool, but it's just not as special seeing people constantly sharing images, videos of a hyper, or even these locked creatures and humans. It's just not as special anymore. And I know the developers do have plans for these creatures in the future, and I'll get to that here soon. But my excitement to see these servers go down for scummy tactics, and personally, kind of ruining the game for me, you bunch of schmucks, that kind of brings me joy. And I just want to see the salt rain down from the people involved in their Discord servers. But Punchpacket, bless. Thank you, sir. You gave some good insights on the whole situation, and also thank you for doing like a little mini Q&A, which by the way, I'm going to go in and share now. So if you're still unclear about like the stuff on the roadmap, the new roadmap, which by the way, I'm going to link in the description if you want to check that out, I'm going to go ahead and share what Punchpacket talked about. The dude was just cool. Here's Punch, the man himself, the man in the flesh. I guess I do have something. So the perk system, I guess like as you grow, you gotta do stuff to earn perks, or do you just like get perks as you grow?
So the perk system that we're going to be implementing initially will basically lay the foundation for further perk functionality with upcoming systems like Diet and Elder. But what it will do initially is, as you hit various growth milestones, so an example being juvenile to subadult, you'll get the option of selecting a variety of different perks. So that's how it will work initially. They won't be anything like massive initially. So an example of this, maybe it's some sort of statistic change, or maybe you use less stamina while pouncing. But then as we get into like the diet system, the best example would be cannibalism. So cannibalism is going to change. So I believe you will be able to eat your own species, but there will be negative effects in doing so if you're not of a certain species or if you don't have a particular perk. So one perk will allow you to eat your own kind without suffering any negative side effects. However, your eyes are now red, which is not something people can really notice from like a distance. But if someone gets close to you and they look into your eyes, they're going to immediately know that you can eat your own kind.
Okay, so I know Primal Carnage, another game, but like, and the genre's kind of similar, and I know like you guys are gonna like tie into like the lore between them somehow. So I know you guys are tying Phoenix Corporation with Apollo Engineering somehow. I know Dondi held like all the knowledge that I don't know what he's doing. I don't care for the drama or whatever, but doing the whole lore thing, like who's organizing all that?
Don's masterminding that. And in regards to Don, don't worry about him. He's Gucci.
He's still working on the game.
Hell yeah!
Like, okay.
Literally the only thing that's changed is that he decided to like not hang out in the Discord. But,
which is probably for the best for his mental health. Let's be real.
Since Primal Carnage came out, I've always wanted it to be a dinosaur survival game. It would be so nice.
Interesting story. So, when Don used to work on Primal Carnage, the Isle was a sort of... It was an idea that he pitched to the people like at the top of the chain. But they didn't go for it. Like it wasn't like a route they were interested in pursuing. So that's what inspired Don to create the Isle.
And like I didn't think like you guys are gonna add the Stego for the update number 2. Like, did you just add that some time ago?
The reason why Stego is playable in right there. Initially, there was going to be Stegosaurus AI in update 2. But we ran into some problems with the AI, and rather, delay, the whole update, we figured, you know what, Stegosaurus is pretty much nearly complete. Let's just make it playable, put it in there. AI is still visible on the roadmap. If you go all the way to the right, you'll see the ongoing content tab. Things that we haven't slotted for like specific updates are listed in there. And there are also things that are spread across multiple updates. So let's take the Elder System and admin tools. They aren't slotted to go in a single update. They're something that will be delivered throughout multiple updates.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if they had like 3 carnivores, 3 herbivores, then people start like flooding in, and like maybe a few systems. I don't know, 3 major updates.
They're gonna have 6 dinosaurs in.
Dude, Hipsy's gonna be like, weirdly, Hipsy is actually my like new favorite dinosaur because I'm a massive troll in some of these games. It feels so me to just play as a dinosaur where I can spit acidic stomach bile into people's faces and blind
them. Run away.
The Dilo's gonna do something even better. Dude, the update 6 is gonna be my favorite. If you've not read the descriptions for like if you click on each card, you can like read their descriptions of like what they do. The Dilo, the way Venom is gonna work is the Dilo Venom in particular. During day, not much really happens if you get bit by a Dilo. However, if you get bit by a Dilo at night, you're gonna start seeing some weird hallucinations. The Trudon, he has some nasty venom, but another thing he can do is Trudon can mimic certain other noises. You hear what sounds like a human screaming in pain. Oh, so it's a group of Trudons.
Since last I played the Reassuring branch, I'm not sure if this was fixed. After a while, if you play, like, your frame rate will slowly drop.
Yeah, those are ongoing fixes. Like, each patch, they should significantly improve until they get eradicated entirely. Because performance issues are like one of those things where naturally we can't afford to have like a QA team of like 1,000 people. It's better to just, release the patch, see what happens, and then release hotfixes for it. Regarding the questions that were asked a second ago, what were they again?
The skins. Bring more customization to like the dino that you're playing.
What we're going to be doing with the skin system is the skin system isn't going to be dog shit like it was in Legacy. So
Yeah.
you're going to have access to, you're going to have more nuance, you're going to have more clarity, more options, meaning that you can customize your pattern, you can customize your
Yes.
skin. There'll probably be far more options in terms of colors, but you're not going to have like neon pink dinosaurs running around.
Thank
Mm.
God.
As for like purchasable skins and stuff, that's something where we're not really interested in doing microtransactions. Maybe that'll be something that happens years and years from now. But when it comes to microtransactions, our kind of view has always been, hey, when the Isle's done, how about we make a completely underwater version, like an expansion pack? That's what we should do for our microtransactions.
Bruh. Oh my God, I would be terrified. I hate the ocean.
I just want the dino. I'll be a river monster.
Wait till you see Dino's special ability where he can lunge out of the water, grab people, and murder.
Yo,
I'm so
and then drag him
excited.
in.
Out of the water,
Oh,
can or
I
no?
do have a question. So it was obviously
roll.
like said that the Dino will continuously grow. Is that a thing with him? Or like going to be implemented in the future with him when it's more balanced?
That's one of those things where we probably won't do that, because obviously you don't want to run into the situation where you have like the Deinosuchus who's like the size of the island and he takes one step and spawn kills everyone with trample.
Obviously, I wasn't thinking he'd get that big. I was thinking maybe like he
It
would
would just be amazing
crest
to
out
watch
like
it drag
hypo
a
size
wreck
or something
down.
like that.
It's gonna like happen, and then everything in the past is just poof.
So what we're going to be doing in regards to Legacy, eventually Legacy will most likely just disappear below the waves, and the reason
Thank
for
you.
this is quality. And the reason why Legacy still exists is we believe that you guys should still have an environment to play in that is stable, whilst Evrima is still, getting onto its feet.
Do you have like a very, very vague ETA of when these Chinese servers are going to get nuked?
Basically, we mentioned this in the dev blog that we released today. When this happens, we can pretty much just patch it in like a single day. But we're waiting on a response from a third party, which we need in order to properly push the update.
Is it going to affect all the people that have played on those servers? I assume not, because that's a shit ton of people you'd have to ban.
We're not going to ban people for like just playing as those creatures and whatnot. The only people we're going to ban is the people like profiting off the hypos and the people who are like behind the exploit in the first place.
I think we got a screenshot the other day. There was like 4 different copies of every single one of our servers. Somebody posted when they're trying to find our servers, so it's getting a little nuts.
An idea I've been pushing forward, I'm pretty sure this is what we're most likely going to be doing in future. How many of you have played Squad? Squad is a popular UE4 game, like, kind of like realistic war sim.
Mhm.
Anyway, in that game, their server browser has a number of different interesting options. Basically, you go into the server browser, and the first tab that is selected, and the only servers that you can see straight off the bat, are official servers, which are like marked in yellow. And then there is another tab which is like verified servers, which are servers that aren't official but are mainstream servers that are basically like, these guys are legit, they're okay.
I'm so ready for the admin log, and especially when a player goes, hey, this person admin abused, I can go to the admin log, be like, guess what? They didn't. Or I can be like, guess what? You're right. Here's your dinosaur back. They're in trouble.
Not just that, but with the server logs thing, not only will you be able to see like what commands people have used, but you'll be able to see when people log in, when they log out, when any deaths, any kills people make, any commands used in game, including kicks, bans, and also you'll be able to see every single chat log, including group chats. The way it'll be formatted is that you'll be able to see the time of which that happened, so timestamp. If it happened in a particular channel, it'll list what channel it was in. If it'll also list then their in-game name and their Steam ID.
Now that like bans can be through like a panel, do you know how nice that's going to be with our new site coming up as well? Oh,
The scoreboard, as you're maybe aware, in Evrima, normal players can't see the scoreboard. So that's like accessible only to admins. We're going to be merging that scoreboard with the admin panel, so you can do, like, if you're in game, you can just handle all of your commands through like that same screen, meaning that you don't have to like type in commands to like ban someone for like a specific amount of time. You can just click on their name in the scoreboard, go to a specific option, which is like ban ID or whatever.
will there be a
select
search
time.
bar?
Yes, there will be a search.
Oh, okay, that was one thing I noticed with the last one, or with the recent update with Evrima. You have to like scroll through everything. You're like, oh shit, where are you at? Where are you at? You have to like find them, and that's a tedious.
The reason why that thing is not there is one for streamers because there was a big problem where like when people were like playing the game, they'd hit tab, and bam, you now have you've shown everyone on your stream what server you're on, or people who hop from server to server, they open the scoreboard and go like, oh, I wonder if this streamer's on this server. Let's have a look. So that was like the main
to
reason
avoid
for
targeting
it.
and stuff.
Yes.
For me, the replay gives random players the ability to go in and identify, like, say somebody rule broke on them, they can go in, catch that player's name, get their ID. Without that scoreboard, that might be, and like no replay, that might be a little hard. Is there any kind of analog you guys have planned for that?
Right now, replay is probably like a very far off thing.
Yeah, I get that.
What you'll have to do for the time being is server logs. So if someone's reporting something specific, such as like, oh, I was killed here, or this happened here, you get to see the exact time it happened, who did what, and most cases, hopefully, it should solve it. In regards to nesting, something some of you might not have noticed, if you have the labels enabled, there's something very different about the Gallimimus. Like,
Omnivore.
I'm gonna have to fear galleys now.
the way galleys and like stuff like that will work is if you look at the diet system card, basically the diet system will usher in a completely new way of play. The food you eat will not only vary in satiation, but also in effect, both good and bad. So growing at a steady rate will require your species to eat selectively and to travel great distances to find the best meals. So you can focus on maximizing your growth rate with a balanced diet, or you can go for a more exotic diet that can lead to, let's say, unexpected results. You can be a galley and just like only eat like plants, but if you want to like grow appropriately, you might have to raid some nests for their eggs. Now, as a galley, you won't because the way diets will work. A galley isn't going to be able to just go up to like any creature, kill it, and eat it. You have you are only able to eat specific foods, or rather, you can try eating other foods. It's just not going to end well. You go up to like a nest or whatever, and you can grab a couple eggs, eat them. And then you've got the Oviraptor, which is why those two dinosaurs are in the same update, because their like egg-stealing functionality is just, it's great for development time for it both to go in together. If you click on the actual cards themselves, you're gonna find some interesting things out about that particular update.
It's been so long. Like, are the updates with Evrima have been, and this is not me trying to offend you, but they've been a lot slower than what we were promised. These updates were as slow as the original ones were.
So,
it's the servers being crashing all the time.
Basically, we had performance bottlenecks. Now those aren't really as much of an issue. Like, there are performance issues, but those can get resolved over time quite easily, which means production's ramping up quite significantly. Like the bleed system. Fun fact: Felipe completed that in about 2 hours. Do keep in mind, though, that bone breaking will not be in Evrima. Main reason why is bone breaking was dog shit, so we have relabeled it as fractures. And basically, fractures are going to be like so gone are the days of the infuriating bone break mechanic. Fractures are going to vary, so they're from mild to severe, and they'll hinder your character accordingly. You'll also have more ways to apply them, and also have ways to mitigate them.
I assume, once
if you become an elder, you can choose to die of old age, and if you do that, you get a bonus that you can apply to that species later on, which is like an account-wide perk that you unlock, which is super special, and the elder.
So it's gonna be hard to get.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have to keep that Utah alive for a while.
Yeah.
With elders, everybody is reaching elder state just by being old, or
you're going to have to meet a certain criteria. And
okay.
Diet is an extremely important part of that. So if you're not maintaining a balanced diet, you probably aren't getting to elder.
Well, if you sit in a corner, you're not going to get to that point.
Yes, and there's also going to be other objectives for you to do as well. I think a good example I heard was, imagine a dinosaur that takes 6 hours to grow, right? If you're doing your bonuses, you might cut that down to 4 hours or something. If you're not doing anything, you're just sitting in a bush, have a good 20 hours, bro. Well, there's also the thing of if you're just sitting in a bush, eventually you're going to start emitting quite a very pungent smell. And people are going to smell that from a significant range away, as well as with our pack mechanics. So as you may be aware, in Evrima we have pack limits on that are actually built into the game. Mm-hmm. So if you're a Utah Raptor, I think you can invite 6 other Utahs to your group, and if you're a Tenonto, you can invite up to 8 Tenontos or something like that. And I think Dryo was 10 or something. basically, the way these groups will work is if your group is fully maxed out in camp, right? Your group will start emitting something called pack scent, meaning that the larger your group, the easier like it is for someone to like detect your group in terms of scent, because you'll start emitting pack scent.
To be fair, like literally in Evrima, which is the one thing that I hate the most, literally about the entire update, is the fact that as a player, you cannot click the tab to add someone to your group. You have to be beside them and you have to call them.
So we're probably just going to be refining that system. We're probably not going to be re-implementing the whole like you can see your friend from across the map type thing, because it's probably like gameplay like from a game decision wise, like we kind of don't believe in the idea of just being able to see everyone from across the map. But one of the main issues that kind of leads to that right now is that because there's not really much to do on the map, you spend like your first hour of gameplay, or maybe even 2 hours because of the size of the map, is basically just running around looking for your friend in this giant place where everything is green. It's all the same color everywhere you go. Everything looks the same. So like there's no landmarks, but besides that like one giant butt plug on top of that mountain. Like no, you don't know where like anyone is. Like good luck finding your friend. Then when you do find your friend, what do? You got literally nothing to do other than like sit by the water and eat. Or if you're a Utah raptor, run around until you maybe find someone. But if you look at ongoing content, one thing we're working on is a smaller map. And it's a significantly smaller map, like way smaller map.